Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slade, and today we're going to talk about NXT and the Dusty Cup and a lot of other stuff that's going on. And I'm going to be honest, not my favorite episode of NXT. It's just something about this Dusty Cup stuff that every year it comes around, it just sucks the energy out of NXT. It's just, mm-mm. I, look, I understand that everybody wants to do their beloved stuff for Dusty, but I wasn't feeling the tournament last year. Not really feeling it this year either. I ain't gonna hold you up, dog. Not saying that the matches sucked, but the stakes aren't there. It's like everybody gets this trophy. It's like, okay, but what does the trophy mean? You know, does the trophy make you the tag team champions? Does it make you the number one contenders? What? Got to give me some stakes here. You can't just say, well, it's a tournament to honor Dusty Rhodes. It's like, yeah, but can we honor my time? Anyway, our first match was Shotzi Blackheart versus Candice LeRae. And Candice LeRae wins because Indy Cartwheel caused a distraction. And Candice LeRae wins with a neck breaker from the second rope. And I don't like Candice LeRae. I've not been a fan of Candice LeRae for a long time. She's very boring. And she has no personality whatsoever. Not even she doesn't even have a personality as a heel. And I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't understand the fascination with Candice LeRae. I don't. And you know what? This stuff started because of the independents. Triple H had to stop listening to fucking indie marks. Okay, people who be like, "Oh, Candice LeRae, she's so good. She's good enough to wrestle the men." It's like she's good enough to wrestle idiot men who wanted to get in the ring and wrestle a woman. I've been watching Candice LeRae for over a year now. I don't fucking like her matches. I haven't really watched her wrestle anybody, and I've liked it. And the crazy thing is, I love Shotzi. Shotzi is great. Personality, characters, in-ring style. She can do technical stuff, and she can do stupid, reckless shit. I like Shotzi. She's different. She's dynamic. Candice LeRae, have no fucking idea what anybody sees in Candice LeRae. I don't know. I don't get it. Shotzi is good. I watched some Evolve, right? I watched the Evolve stuff that was on the network, what they got up so far. The Shotzi stuff is good. Like when she goes out there and she does like her technical stuff, like her submission and grappling and stuff like that, that's actually pretty good. And then, of course, like I said in the previous videos, she does like these epic, reckless ass stunts too. So she's got a mixture of being able to do the ground stuff and being able to do the absolutely stupid shit that's going to get her killed. Like, so if she, puts that in its proper place, being ballsy and being technically pretty good, as long as with her character. Now, the howling and stuff is pretty cringe, but she got a package there that you can sell. I don't understand. I don't understand the Candice LeRae. I don't get that one. That you're gonna have to. Somebody gonna have to write me an article explaining how Candice LeRae is any good. So we get a Finn Balor promo. I like the Finn Balor was very intense here. He says he gave Kyle O'Reilly credit, said he was great, but he's still not on his level. Says that now he's the one eating through a straw. So he put the big red X on himself because now he's the target, and they stopped making the cloth. They stopped manufacturing the cloth that he's cut from. I like that. I like that Finn Balor is talking big. Like he talks real big. Like you wouldn't think Finn Balor was like 5'7" or some shit, 150 pounds, from the way he behaves and the way he carries himself. He carries himself like a badass. He could be like a pretty tough guy, a UFC lightweight champion or whatever the fuck, So that's pretty cool. So Pete Dunne comes out, and talking is not Pete Dunne's strong suit, but he talked about some stuff that's pretty good. He says that the only reason that people see Finn Balor as the standard bearer for European wrestling, and the only reason he's the NXT champion is because he hasn't shown up to take him yet. And Finn Balor just immediately attacked Dunne, Birch, and Lorcan because he's an idiot, right? He just attacks all three of them. And he didn't want to hear what they had to say. He just attacked all three of them. They, of course, beat him down because it would be stupid for them not to, And so then Kyle O'Reilly came down to make the save, and the rest of the Undisputed Era followed. I like that. And I like that, they said they got Kyle O'Reilly, he's leading the pack now. So there was a stare down between Finn Balor and Undisputed Era. There's going to be some tension there. There's some intrigue there. So I'm interested in seeing where that goes. They did a little bit of that later. So then Johnny Gargano shows up on the screen, and I was like, oh, God. First, Candice LeRae. Now, not Daniel Bryan. When Johnny Gargano was a babyface, he had a Daniel Bryan-like quality to him. But he doesn't have the Daniel Bryan dynamic to be able to be entertaining as a face and a heel. As a babyface, he's plain, but he shows like technical prowess and toughness that can, where he can hang in there. Maybe some of the guys he had him in there, it was too big for him to be hanging in there, quote unquote. But he has some technical prowess where he can do, some of the mat-based stuff, and he can do a little bit of the drama. But he can't do this heel stuff. He ain't got the comedic chops. He ain't got the personality for it. So he's talking about looking forward to winning the Dusty Cup and how the Kushida Shotzi tag team match shouldn't have happened. They're 50-50 booking the shit out of Shotzi, by the way. Because she won the tag team match and then she lost the one-on-one match. It was silly. I forgot to mention that. So then Austin Theory, who is apparently a meathead now. Like, he's just basically an idiot, right? And again, I haven't watched all of the Evolve stuff they have on the network. I don't know if Austin Theory has a great personality. I guess this is just going to be something. Like it's just going to be something because he's another work rate guy. Like they tried to give him a personality, but he's a little too stilted. Even in Evolve, like I don't think you can even blame WWE for that. Anyway, he brought some pictures that came from Dexter Loomis, and these pictures one was of Johnny Gargano crying, another was of Austin Theory holding his nuts because he got shot with the tank, and he was like, "We're gonna go kick his ass," and that's what they plan to do. And so now he's just a meathead, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So then the second match on the show was Grizzled Young Veterans versus Everrise in the first round Dusty Cup match. And Gibson cut a pretty good promo. They always do really solid promos. Gibson is a good talker. He's good at getting heat. He's good at I like how he stresses certain words. Soon to be number one. I like that. Everrise fucking sucks. They tried to frustrate Grizzled Young Veterans with their antics. Both teams are heel teams, but in this match, you essentially had Everrise working as annoying baby faces. And this match was a little too long. It was a little too long. I really would just like for Grizzled Young Veterans to just be established and kill these guys, because Grizzled Young Veterans are the future. Everrise are a good personality team. They can do good comedy shit. They're like 24/7 title chasers. So I don't see why they needed to have a long match with Grizzled Young Veterans. You could have just put Grizzled Young Veterans over. It just had them kill Everrise. Why not? Keep it short. Everrise is not over. But Grizzled Young Veterans could have been. So you got Shotzi Blackheart cuts a promo. She was disappointed in losing, but she said she's not going to complain about tonight because she's going to move on to the Dusty Cup and she'll see Candice LeRae in that tournament. And then her partner ended up being Ember Moon. And Ember Moon was talking, and she was talking about Ember's Law or Moon's Law or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck? Can we sit down and actually explain what that means? And where the hell has she been for the last 4 weeks? She took a month off. Like, where the hell has she been? But Shotzi and Ember Moon as partners, okay, I'll buy that. I can accept it. It's fine. It's something for Ember Moon to do. It's fine. So the third match was Dexter Loomis versus Johnny Gargano, and a match I really did not care for because it really, outside of Dexter Loomis put Johnny Gargano in the match that he lost at New Year's Evil, there was really no reason for this match to take place. There's also another Johnny Gargano being a fucking midget, wrestling guys much bigger than him in matches that are too long, and he wins in a roll up because Austin Theory distracted him. So then Dexter Loomis tried to choke out Austin Theory, and Gargano saved him. And then Kushida came out there, and Kushida put Gargano in the hoverboard lock and basically challenged him for the North American title. I really would have cut out the fat. And basically, after Gargano came out there, he could have just complained about Dexter Loomis putting him in that match. And Dexter Loomis threatened to beat him up. And then him and Theory beat up Dexter Loomis. And then Kushida came out there to make the save. And it would have had the same impact as them going through this long match. And I'm not saying that the match was bad. It was actually solid, but it was nothing to write home about. There was no stakes. There was no reason. There was no heat. There was no drama. There was no reason for this match to happen. Other than, I don't like that you put me in that match last week. It's like, so what? So what? Fuck. Johnny Gargano, fuck. What the hell, bro? I'm looking forward to Kushida versus Johnny Gargano because I know that's going to be some work rate shit. And I'm okay with it because I want Kushida to just win the fucking title and hold it. You know, hold it for a long time. Okay, please. So you get Birch. Birch is talking. Birch is like, you know, they run NXT and, you know, and Pete Dunne says Kyle O'Reilly wants to get in his business. He's going to get in Kyle O'Reilly's business and he's going to take care of him. He's going to bump him off. And I was like, okay, let's go for it. So then we get the Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher sit down for the fight pit, which will take place next week. And my almonds was almost roasted because it was kind of like Thatcher's portion of this thing was kind of stiff because Thatcher's probably not used to talking. He's probably not used to talking. But, Ciampa, of course, was like, I wonder what kind of injury did you have? And he's like, nothing that's going to change the outcome of this fight. So Tommaso Ciampa's like, he wanted to change the culture of NXT and going into enemy territory where Timothy Thatcher is undefeated is going to be a long way of doing that. And Thatcher says, look, I don't have any problem with you. I was just being a good teacher and instructing the youth. And I agree with you, actually. We really could. And then Tommaso Ciampa was like, you call it teaching, I call it taking liberties. And it says that, Thatcher is a good grappler, but he's a shit coach. He's a shit human being. And then, he says some more stuff, and Thatcher was like, he sees a man questioning whether he still got it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. Now why couldn't that be the angle we go with in the first place? Instead of Thatcher keeps saying, I don't got a problem with you. Instead of Thatcher saying like, oh, you're trying to come out here and see if you still got it. You don't. I'm about to break you in half. Your neck broken. I'm about to fuck you up. But, it was solid. It was all right. It was intense, but Thatcher was kind of stilted in his talking. It felt very edited too, like he had to do that multiple times. So whatever. Adam Cole cut a promo about teaching a lesson to Pete Dunne and his goons, and that he's going to advance in the tournament. Like they respect Breezango, but they're going to win. And when I heard they were wrestling Breezango, I almost melted into my couch because I knew that I was going to be very, very angry at the end of the night, and I was. So Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas teamed up for reasons unknown. They were partners for unknown reasons, and they were wrestling the mysterious MSK, who we find out later are Dez and Wentz of the Rascals. They now go by the name Wes Lee, who is Dez, and Nash Carter, who is Wentz. Those names are trash. Wes Lee. Not Wesley. Wes. W-E-S. Break. Lee. His last name is Lee. That's stupid as fuck. This guy's name is Nash Carter. Nash Carter. These names are like random bullshit generators. Okay? You cannot tell me they put thought into this. These names are trash, bro. And what the fuck does MSK stand for? And I'm interested in that part, what MSK stands for. This match was good, though. This was a first round Dusty Cup match. It was a good mix of standard ground wrestling with spots. Okay, so they did like some spots, but it wasn't like spotty as hell, where they was like constantly going from spot to spot to spot to spot, where it was some drama and stuff like that brought into it. But it would have been a nice if there had been some vignettes for Dez and Wentz. If their names were trash, they could have put some more effort into the name. The names are so bad. It's so bad they're distracting. They're so bad. But this match was good. I don't understand why Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas, two guys who have been fighting for the last month, why they're partners now. I don't get it. They didn't bother to try to explain it either. They just kind of said, well, these two guys are partners. It's like, what? Why? And Swerve took the loss for unknown reasons. I don't know why Jake Atlas couldn't take the pinfall here. What is up with them and Swerve? Like, I don't get it. Is Swerve 40 or something like that now? Like, I think that's when they start chopping you out, you get like, he is so good, and they fucking him over. I might have to do my favoritism, because Swerve is really good, and they fucking him over something decent. But Dez and Wentz did pretty much all of their rascal stuff. They did the little moonsault where you push people into it, and you push like Dez does Wentz does the moonsault. It's like a shooting star press, actually. And Wentz pushes him while he's in the air. And, the announcers kind of put it over. It was a pretty solid fucking match, And, Jake Atlas did some power stuff actually in this match. Isaiah Swerve Scott did some good stuff in this match too. It was solid. It was pretty solid. I liked it. After the match, Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas got into an argument in the back. They were fighting, because they hate each other, which is why they should never have been partners in the first place. And then Bronson Reed gets in between them, break them up. And then Swerve is like, oh, so you taking his side? And Reed's like, back up. I said it's over. And so Swerve kind of gave him the smile, like he's going to do something to him. Which I hope he does, because fuck Thick Boy. Also, Swerve lost to Thick Boy for no reason a couple weeks ago. So maybe we're going to go back to that. Hopefully, I'm just itching for somebody to hit somebody in the knee with a pipe or something around this motherfucker, okay? Stop all these 50-50 fight scenes where everybody has to be breaking up. Like, it's okay to just grab like a box and bang it over somebody's head, or to attack somebody with a steel chair from behind or something like that, or Nancy Kerrigan a motherfucker by whacking his knee, or hitting the motherfucker with a car or something. It's okay to do that and nobody get a chance to respond or fight back. Okay, so like it's all right. It's all right for you to occasionally knock a motherfucker down. I don't think this happened since Karrion Kross put down Damian Priest for a couple of weeks. There's nothing wrong with you just, flattening a motherfucker real quick and getting some heat on them. There's nothing wrong with that. So Scarlett was doing some sexy tarot card stuff where she was speaking in some strange language. It's probably like Serbian or something like that. Somebody in the comment section probably knows. It's probably like Polish or something. So she talked about conquering the Archer, which is of course Damian Priest, and now she's got her eye on the Prince, which is Finn Balor, of course. Still building up Balor and Cross. So I'm guessing the Pete Dunne stuff is probably going to be another TV match. And I don't see them going with Dunne and Cross. And I don't know how I feel about that, because Dunne is a legit opponent. Dunne is strong, So I don't know how I feel about the idea we're just going to keep looking past him. But I also get that you can't really put the belt on him, because you need Cross to get the belt. It's like Cross got to have the belt, because this is supposed to be his run. So he got to get the belt. But I don't know what you do with Dunne. I don't know how you get Dunne out the way. Maybe you get Dunne out the way by giving him his title shot and he loses. But then what you do with him after that? I guess the North American title will be open soon when Kushida get it. Then, Dunne and Kushida could be really good. So then Xia Li was next. And Xia Li does, her opponent was unannounced. Like, nobody knows who her opponent is, but I didn't bother to look either. She did a bow staff weapon demonstration, and then she came in the ring. She struck her opponent in the face once, and then she did her kick and nailed her opponent, and that was it. Xia Li won in 2 moves. Amazing, right? Put the motherfucker over. She did 2 things and won. And Xia Li is small. Why are they putting so much effort? It's look, I'm okay. Look, hold on. Let's be clear. I shouldn't have said it that way. I am 100% okay with what they did here. It was the right move. But why is she the only one that really putting over strong like this? You know, put over other people strong like this too. You know, they're showing that, you know, Xia Li has killer instinct, that she's becoming quite a monster, where she can beat people in 2 moves now, as opposed to losing how she was. And then Tian Xia, who I'm guessing is the master who was sitting in the throne, kind of put her hand up, and that kind of gave Xia Li the order to continue the fight. So Xia Li tied the woman up in the ropes, and, you know, kept punching her in the stomach, and she whiffed one of the punches to the face. She actually whiffed it. But that was just her being too nice. She should have laid it in. And then she, Tian Xia, you know, closed her fist, and then, you know, Xia Li ran down the ramp and kneed her in the gut. You know, so she's violent. She's vicious. I love this. I was waiting for this. This is good. Xia Li has perfected that kick, and you better get your hands up because she's coming in hot, baby. she can't pull it. She ain't mastered pulling it yet. But this is Xia Li doing shit she already knows how to do. You know, she's went through her stage of looking confused and looking stupid. Now she's just doing shit that she already knows how to do. Like, she's already doing the kickboxing thing. She was already doing it. You know, but, you know, they were having her in matches where she was basically just a smiling baby face doing nothing. Now she's a lethal striker. You know, she looks like a fucking killer. I'm all about that. I'm all about it. I cannot wait for Xia Li and Io Shirai. You know, that ought to fucking rock. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know about, now you do have Mercedes Martinez in the pipeline. Our Cherry Lip Pop goddess, Toni Storm, is also still in the pipeline. And they have been, you know what? They have been withholding. They've been very stingy with the Toni Storm lately. They have been very, very stingy with the Toni Storm. Where the hell has she been? I don't think she's been on TV in like 3 weeks. I'm gonna start having withdrawals in a minute. Anyway, Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter are the fiery, happy underdog baby faces in the women's Dusty Cup. They said that, oh, everybody's going to overlook us, but we're going to win. And it would be neat if they did win. I would actually be okay with them winning. They've been an actual tag team for over a year. They probably should win the women's Dusty Cup, if we're being honest. But except for Casey Catanzaro is a fucking midget. She's a midget. She's like 5 foot. No, she's 5 foot. Period. She's probably the same height as Alexa Bliss. And Alexa Bliss is a fucking midget. You know, it's hard to say she's a small girl. You know? Caden Carter is only a little bit taller. I think Raquel Gonzalez is in this tournament too. I think her and Dakota Kai are in the tournament. If so, maybe Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter won't win. But they're the actual tag team that's in this tournament. It would also be nice if they could have. I think they should cheat and put Asuka and Charlotte in this tournament. I haven't looked at the women's bracket. The women's bracket hasn't come out yet. I know there's enough women in NXT probably to fill up an 18 bracket, but they should go ahead and cheat and say we're going to use some Raw and SmackDown teams because they're using Lucha House Party. Lucha House Party is a Raw team. They bring a Lucha House Party in to fill up the men's bracket or to help fill up the men's bracket. So bring in Charlotte and Asuka for the women's bracket and have them wrestle and say that if you beat them, then you get a title shot. And then you eliminate them in the first fucking round. That's what I would do. I would bring the women's tag team champions in and eliminate them in the first round as a surprise. That way, you got an extra team in the tournament. You got them beat, and then you can lead up to another match that you can do on NXT and not have them win that fucking cup. because the cup should go to a team that's a real team. So, I don't know who's going to be on the women's teams. But I did see that they're going to have Toni Storm. I'm sorry, I apologize. Peace be upon her. Our cherry-lipped pug goddess Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez are going to be teammates, and Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell are teammates, I believe, and Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon are teammates. I don't know who else is going to be on the teams, but I'm interested in seeing how many people they're going to really dig into, because you got Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I'm guessing they're going to be teammates. Are Rhea Ripley even going to participate in this fiasco? Who knows? And then, you have Xia Li floating around. Io Shirai is also floating around. I don't know if, either one of them are going to be in this thing. And probably not Io Shirai. But I don't know if you have enough active women in NXT. Are you going to do Santana Garrett? What about Aaliyah? Is Chelsea Green going to come back? So they have a lot of open spots in NXT for women, for the Women's Dusty Cup. And it could actually be pretty fun. So I'm interested in seeing what their bracket's going to look like. So the main event of the show was Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, a.k.a. the Undisputed Era, versus Breezango in the Dusty Cup first round match. And this was not a main event as far as I'm concerned. It was not a main event. I know that some people seem to think Breezango is special. No, not me. Not I. I've been waiting on Breezango to break up for 2 years, man. I've been waiting on them to break up for 2 years. They just won't do it. They won't. They need to get an edge or something. It's just something about Breezango where I hate them. I just hate them so much. So, Dunne, Burch, and Lorcan jumped Kyle O'Reilly, who was outside the ring. Finn Balor came out there to save him. Kyle O'Reilly, they still got beaten up. Kyle O'Reilly's head got smashed against the barricade with a running knee, which bloodied his mouth, and they targeted Balor's arm and Kyle O'Reilly's jaw, which was really cool. Undisputed Era still managed to win when Fandango jumped from the top rope to do his leg drop, but got super kicked by Adam Cole and pinned. I don't know where the hell Tyler Breeze or Roderick Strong went. But the match was solid. It wasn't bad. I just didn't want to see Breezango. I did not care about Breezango at all. I don't know what you like. The Dusty Cup should not be main event in the show. It shouldn't be I get it. That's the reason why it was the main event is because it was going to involve all the A characters, the Adam Coles, the Finn Balor's, the Pete Dunnes, right? That's why this was in the main event. It still shouldn't have been the main event. They should have really just took some time and actually built a fucking main event. Okay, and actually built, even if it was just going to be Shotzi Blackheart and Candice LeRae. If you were going to have them be the main event, you could at least told that story throughout the show and built to it, and not had a cold tournament match as your main event. I didn't like that idea. So this wasn't my favorite episode of NXT. It wasn't the most logically booked episode of NXT in the world either. So it was okay. NXT suffers from the peril of it tries to be the wrestling show and it doesn't try to be the variety show. The variety is the spice of life, What makes Raw, SmackDown, and AEW more interesting than NXT, even though NXT is technically a better show sometimes, is that you never know what kind of butt fuckery you're going to get, especially on Raw. Like when people say Raw is terrible, to me, the worst show possible is a boring show. You can do stupid shit. I will find something to laugh about or something to talk about in stupid shit. When it comes to your show just being flat out fucking boring, and I don't really like, there's nothing. If I can skip it and nothing is gained or lost, then or nothing is lost rather, then your show sucks. I need to feel like I'm going to miss something. And that's what NXT is missing. NXT is missing some sizzle. It's missing some spice. It's missing some stakes. There needs to be some stakes going around here. People need to be like losing their spot. Like loser leaves NXT, loser leaves their job, or people getting their head shaved, or that's the one thing AEW is actually doing that's actually pretty good, is that they're adding certain stakes to lower level stories, like that stupid ass Chuck Taylor and Miro match. Like, of course, you knew Chuck Taylor was going to lose, but at least there was something there that was, worth fighting for or worth fighting over. In NXT, it's hard to tell, and you have the same match again and again. Like, at this point, shouldn't Shotzi Blackheart and Candice LeRae have some type of stake to their match? Like, they've already had a War Games match. Shouldn't at this point one of them gotta go? Like, shouldn't that be the case by now? Like, loser leaves NXT, one of y'all motherfuckers gotta go? Even if it's temporary. Even if it's, loser has to retire or something like that. And then you can try to pull the trigger on a reversal or something later on in order to make it interesting. But this idea we're just going to continue having one-on-one matches. It's like, okay, I love the one-on-one match. My favorite. But add some stakes to it. Add some sizzle to it. Add something to this show. And I saw a lot of people say it's also too dark in NXT. Or I don't think that helps either. But I don't dislike NXT. I don't think it's all that boring. It's a wrestling show. I mean, it's mostly wrestling on the wrestling show. I question a lot of their booking decisions, and I question why they don't do exciting and different things. Like, they don't focus on people who have personality. Part of the big problem with NXT is they focus on the Garganos and all of the work rate shit that they're doing. It's like, we don't need that much Garganos on the show. We really don't. We don't need 4 different segments of the Garganos. We really, 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 really don't. We don't need 3 or 4 segments of the Garganos at all. But NXT is an easy fix. It's an easy show to watch, because if you just don't like Everrise or something like that, they're not going to be on the screen for a half hour. They may be on there too long, but they're not going to be there for a half hour. But they really do need to work on building these characters. The vignettes for people who are going to be debuting would actually work, and I would appreciate that tremendously. And stop giving people stupid ass names. So I would appreciate that. MSK, they had a good debut. They had a great match. Match was fun. They picked the right 2 guys for them to work with. I just didn't understand why they were partners. So that made no sense. But NXT was a solid C+ NXT. It wasn't up to par, because of the silly tag team stuff. But the Finn Balor and Pete Dunne stuff is very interesting, and the MSK stuff was very interesting, and I'm interested in what's going on with Jake Atlas and Swerve and Bronson Reed. And the women's division Dusty Cup should be interesting, and seeing like what other teams are going to be involved. But there needs to be some real heat put on NXT. There needs to be some real heat. I'm talking like some real good talkers, some real good you should have had something like the Fight Pit's going to be great. Like, I already know the Fight Pit's going to be great. But Thatcher on his own is kind of dry. Like we need to get some personality in there. And I don't know how you fix that problem without just letting the shackles go and letting or bringing in people, And I don't think you should bring in people from outside and I know I joked and said that Asuka and Charlotte, but I wouldn't bring in those people. I would try to build on the people that we have. I think Santana Garrett's been under NXT contract forever. Where the fuck is she? I don't know. I'm asking too many questions. But I thank you guys for listening. Spread the good word of 3 Count Commentaries by leaving the hashtag where you go. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you guys later. Got any questions? Want me to cover any topics? Send it along with some money to the Cash App, and I appreciate you. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah, shed light. live.